Hello everybody, how's it going? Corkscrew here and hope you're all well, and welcome back to the Skippies here at Laguna Seca for the Sunday Night Lights race. So qualifying lap, first lap, we're going down the front straight, which has turn 1, which is just here, down towards the Andretti hairpin. The left hand, we're just going to take a little bit of extra road coming in here. I'm not comfortable all night getting this corner right, but you want to sort of double apex it to get it perfect. Second gear up towards turn 3, right hander, very quick, just a little dab of brake to get the car in. You just got to drift it through there, try and get that exit right. Up to fourth gear, getting into turn number 4, just settles the car a little bit, getting it through. You do get a bit of rubble, a bit of scrubbing if you go through that corner. Just got to be careful getting it right. Up towards turn number 5, fast left-hander dropping down to third gear. Up the hill we go, put power on early, you get up the hill to the kink, turn number 6 for the Rahal straight. Could not get this right all night. A few people will be absolutely, they'll be looking at it going, good God, you lifted completely. Just could not get settled through there. Up to the famous corkscrew, of course, turn 7, 8 and 8A, left, right, and down we go. Big drop downhill. The rainy curve, turn number 9, downhill left-hander. Fourth gear, pretty much power your way through there. Up towards turn 10, the right-hander. Again, want to get some power through there just to keep the car settled, and I just go a little bit wide, and that's my lap done for qualifying. So, pretty much aborted qualifying. Turn number 11, the final corner, is just that left-hander onto the start-finish straight. So anyway, we start right down the back. We're car number 16, I think, and we are very much in a strong strength of field. I think it's almost just under a 1600 strength of field, and I'm around about 1100 on my I rating at the moment. So we get away nicely, good start straight away. The guy beside us jumps us up a little bit. He's going to have to take the penalty. The main thing now is just keeping out of trouble. Uphill, over the top here, blind crest coming down to the first corner. You've got to be careful coming into this first corner because it's very easy to make a mistake. We see a little bit of smoke in front of us and turn in. There's a car crashed into the side there. We're just going to weave our way through. We are the Yorkshire tea coloured car, as you can see on the screen. So now it's just settling in a little bit, and we want to try and take this guy. We're side by side with the car there. We've got the inside line coming into turn number 4. We're just going to drift through, and we know that we're clear, so we just move out just to make sure we can't get us up towards turn number 5. So that's a few positions gained at the start. Guy makes a bit of a dive bomb behind us. We manage to just make sure that that's defended, and we don't get taken out, importantly. The most important thing, we don't get taken out, sorry. So it's a lot about survival. Car goes wide here and catches me up, and I get blocked in behind it, so the guy behind me overtakes me, so I lose that position. Coming up to the corkscrew, number 9 there, could have easily overtaken it, but overtaking in the corkscrew is not a great idea. So you're going to end up with you having a big crash. So I decided to take a little bit of a slower route, just decide to take it easy here. So tyres are still cold at this stage, so you don't want to push too hard. We're just trying to get through, and the guy in front of us that actually we were racing beforehand's just crashed. Another guy on the inside has had a mistake. The guy on the McLaren sponsored, the McLaren version of the Skippy. We're now racing side by side. We get a better run off the corner because we take a wider exit, which means that we've got more speed. There's a little bit of that side draft, but we've got the advantage over speed. So coming to the first corner now, it's all going to be who brakes the latest. We take a little bit of extra room there. We go a little bit wider through the corner because we don't want to cut them off, we don't want to crash. And we take that slightly wider exit, still side by side, but we've managed to get the corner. Up we go, cut them across, and that is another position gained. I think up to P10 now. So not a bad start from, I think, about 16th, 15th, 17th, something like that, to P10 in one lap. One lap, yeah. Not too bad. It's not a bad start overall. Now, Laguna Seca is a track that many love and many hate. It's one of those tracks, really. It's one of those tracks. I personally really enjoy it. It's a track that I've always had a little bit of love for. It's the track where it got me my start in motorsport. Another guy has a spin up towards the Corkscrew. We just sneak our way through there. The guy behind us is much faster as well, by the way. This guy behind us has definitely got a lot more speed. So having to do a little bit of defending. So it's just trying to keep this guy behind us is a tricky thing, because again, a bit more speed, and you don't want to go losing positions by racing too much, because you're just going to cost yourself time. So we're going to be side by side coming down here. I've got the inside line now, which is not preferred because that means I'm going to have to take a tighter line, but we managed to get ahead of them just before we get to the corner. Take that slightly wider line, but just brake a little bit too late and make a mistake, so I just lose that position. So that was just entirely my fault. I took a little bit too much speed through that corner, and that's that position lost. But we're up to P8, well, P9 now technically, I think. So a little bit of a mistake there. Could have possibly kept this guy behind me a little bit longer, but eventually was going to get past me. So end of the day, as I said, when you're racing in Skippies, sometimes the fastest way to race is to not race, as weird as that sounds, I know. But you lose time when you're constantly battling, so now we're just going to sit in behind them. Another mistake in front of us, and we're just going to be trying to capitalise on the mistakes of others. So up towards the Corkscrew once more. And as I said, I've got a special love for this place, because this is effectively where I learned that Penske had a shop in my hometown of Poole in England. I learnt about the factory there, sent them a letter, ended up getting a job, and the rest is history. We get past the Renault as well. So again, we're going well. We're just not making mistakes, and that's sometimes all you can do when you're racing in a Skippy, is just not make a mistake. If you can have a good, clean race, you're going to have a decent finish generally, even if you're not the fastest, because I definitely was not the fastest out there at the beginning of this race. I had a lot more speed come to me later in this race, honestly. I did start to improve a fair bit. Anyway, yeah, it was in a fated kart race back in, would have been 99 or 2000, where the commentators were speaking about Penske's shop in Poole, and I heard that, and immediately I perked up and went, wait, they've got a shop in Poole? I ran downstairs, grabbed the yellow pages, looked up the information, and found their address and their phone number. So first thing I do is ring them up and say, is this actually the Penske? Do you have positions? Yada yada yada. And I got lucky, because the woman that actually answered the phone knew my stepdad, who had passed away a few years prior, but she knew my surname, and she asked if Pete was a relative, and I said yeah, my stepdad, and that got me a entry into motorsport, because I sent a letter saying effectively, I will do anything. Martin Webster, the managing director, wrote back to me and said, come in for a visit of the factory, which I did, and got to see a lot of cool stuff. You know, the current Champ car, things like that. Got to see the whole factory. Got to see a few of the classics. They had the Pennzoil liveried IndyCar there of Alonso, I think it was, and it was just incredible. It was just one of those moments that I was like, this is so cool. And then at the end of the tour, they said, well, do you want a job? And I went, yes, please. And I got a job sweeping the floors, making tea, and doing whatever they wanted me to. And from there I started actually, you know, just helping clean up and tidy up, and obviously there's not much tidying you need to do, so I ended up doing other odd jobs and working in the design department, helping shred paper and helping file and do little odd jobs like that, and then got jobs in the fabrication department, of helping clean metal and then helping actually fabricate, and got taught how to weld and got taught how to actually make the items. I got put on finally to making the heat shielding, so the metal that goes around the exhaust pipes and parts of the engine for the McLaren at the time, the McLaren Mercedes, because it was a side job for Penske and they used to do that for them. So I got a job working for McLaren as well at the same time, which was just a really odd experience when you're 14, 15-year-old. You're just like, okay. And had a job there and just did my job. And then I got transferred to the fabrication department for carbon fibre and became a carbon fabricator. And I did that for about 2 years, making the chassis, making parts of the car, the front wing, whatever needed to be made at the time. Although the chassis were a Reynard chassis, they weren't designing their own chassis at the time. They were designing bits for the car. So I used to make the bits. And one of the interesting ones was a clutch rest plate for De Ferran. And I made it, and the design was a little bit too light. It required 5 sheets of carbon fibre interlaced. And it turned out you needed about 7 or 8 to actually make it work, because 5 was a little bit too weak for the driver, and he was driving around, I don't know which track it was, but it was one of the ovals, and it broke on him and caused him to crash and wrote off one of the chassis. So it was over a couple of $1 million worth of damage done. And I came in on the Monday, and Nick Guza, the managing director there, called me to his office, and I'm like, ooh, this is probably not good. And he told me what happened, and he said, it's okay, it was a design fault, not your fault, so we're not going to charge you this time. And he was a serious chap. He was often on the phone to Frank Williams and Ron Dennis and people like that whenever I was in his office, which was kind of just insane. Just getting past a wrapped car there. He was very much, and still, he was a lovely bloke. He gave me a lovely gift once for my birthday as well, which was just nice. I joined the team shortly after Gonzalo Rodriguez actually passed away, which was a bit of a shame. So it would have been early 2000, because I think that was late September. I think that was September in '99 that he got killed at Laguna Seca. And the chassis that he was using came back to pool for inspection and stuff like that. One of the highlights was working on John Watson's Austrian winning Formula 1 car, getting to hold the trophy as well, because that just sat in the lunchroom. And I was basically working on that to get it ready for Goodwood, because this Brazilian bloke, Fittipaldi, Enzo, was driving it. Sorry, Emerson, Fittipaldi. Big mistake there for one of the cars in front of us, so he managed to just squeeze by. Again, as I said, in this race, it was just keeping mistake free. At Laguna Seca, that's not an easy thing to do. So Emerson Fittipaldi was driving it, which was kind of cool. Just, what can I say? It was just one of those moments. It was like, I'm actually working on a Formula 1 car right now. This is my dream. And just little things like that. There were so many cool moments working at Penske. So, yeah, Laguna Seca has a very, very big spot in my heart.
Sorry.
Oh, the other thing as well was we had the chassis that one Brazilian driver, Ayrton Senna. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He didn't really do much. He just test drove for the IndyCar and Champ car back in the day. But he didn't really pursue a career in it. He said he enjoyed the car though. That chassis was sitting down in one of the lockups down the road, which had probably about $15-30 million worth of equipment in it, and it just had a padlock on it. You know, that's the kind of thing that you just did back then and just had. Anyway, that chassis was there and it was getting sent back to America, I think. So we had to get it up the road, and I wasn't exactly a slim person, but I was one of the smallest people there, being not fully grown yet. So I sort of squashed myself into the chassis and had to sit there with the steering wheel and apply the brake if it started rolling downhill, which was really, 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 really hard. Luckily, I didn't really need to use the brake because it was so stiff. I could not actually use it. Obviously, when the car's not running, it wasn't very good, and the steering was very heavy as well, surprisingly. But getting to sit in that and actually, you know, move it somewhat was kind of a very cool moment in my life. So anyway, yeah, as I say, Laguna Seca, it is a place that I adore because of that, and it has that memory for me. So this race is going pretty well. We're up to P6 at the moment. We're having a good run so far. Now, last week was my official debut in Sunday Night Lights, and if you don't know, Sunday Night Lights is a series that's held by Topsplit TV. Check them out on Facebook and, on YouTube and Twitch, because they stream the top split races. Now, obviously, I'm not in the top split. I'm not good enough for that. The strength of field for the top split this week was something like 5,000 I rating. It was ridiculous. It was crazy strong. And they were setting lap times of like 1:36, 1:35s, I think, you know, which is just mental. Like 4 seconds faster than me. And I know I'm not their level, but I'm slowly progressing, and that's the main thing. I am improving, and every week I'm noticing a difference, and I'm getting a little bit better here and there. I'm able to get the car working a little bit better. I'm making a few less mistakes and not crashing, and my I rating's going up, my safety rating's going up. All the good things are happening, and obviously I don't get to race too much in officials, and I don't get to race much in general because I'm commentating so much, but it's nice to actually get that 1 week every week to do it, and I've really been enjoying it. And I generally just have the broadcast on as I'm racing, and I'm listening to them as they broadcast the top split as I'm racing around, and, you know, obviously focusing 100% on my driving. Yeah, completely. It's probably why I'm so slow, is because I'm not focusing properly. But anyway, it's really got me into the Skippy series, and it's held every Sunday at 8:45 South Australian time. But you get a lot of drivers from Europe, from Asia, from America. You get them from all over the world, and there's always around about 5-6 splits. You know, you can get sort of 80-90 people wanting to race on the night. So I think the championship gets counted down to the 4th split, which is what I'm in at the moment, and I'm trying my best to get up to the 3rd split now. So that's my goal at the moment, to try and solidly get into the 3rd split every week. And I know I'm going to struggle in there because those guys are even faster than me, but I'm hoping I can get some solid finishes, and that's my goal at the moment, is just to get solidly into the 3rd split, get some good finishes, and just continue some good racing. You know, it's sort of the plan for this race and this series, and I feel like I'm doing pretty good in it. And as I said, it's just enjoyable, and you get to chat to some of those drivers, and you sort of get to make acquaintances and get to know everybody, which is really, really nice. And it's different from commentating as well, because obviously you're racing, which is nice, and it's just nice to be able to get that chance to drive. So the guy ahead of us, as I said, was faster than us, but you can see not pulling away by huge margins. So managed to stick on to this guy for most of the race so far, and we're keeping everybody behind us. As I say, it's been a solid drive so far, and we're keeping good pace. You know, every lap is around about the 1:39, 1:40 mark, you know, which is not blistering, but it's in this split it's a solid pace. The leaders have got, I think the leader is about 40, sorry, not 40, about 16, 17 seconds ahead of us at the moment. So again, we're not super far off the top pace, and I feel like if I'd qualified, I might have done a little bit better in this race, but I absolutely ballsed up both my qualifying laps, as I said, which just really did not help us. You know, if I could master one thing, I think qualifying would be one of them. I've had some really good qualifying results the last few weeks, but I kept struggling here, just for the odd track limit. For instance, you see the line I take into the first set of corners here. I've taken that sort of approach every time, and you know, into the Andretti hairpin, I sort of just take out a little bit of a wider turn, and there was just one lap where I got an off track for no real reason, and that frustrated me a little bit, because it sort of was like, well, I've done this lap after lap, so how did I get an off track this time? But other than that, it was pretty good. And up in front, we have somebody spinning, and we just keep way out of their way. So I think that's the guy that actually jumped the start earlier on. So we managed to lap them. So we're keeping at a good pace at the moment, and keeping it out of trouble. As I said, it's more about keeping out of trouble than having blistering pace sometimes for good results. And right here, you see there's a lot of damage there's a lot of parts of Skippy on the road. Well, that's because the leaders have just had a massive crash. So somebody up front has spun it going into the Corkscrew, and somebody else has gone straight into the front of them. So they're going to go into pit lane, and we're going to jump up a couple of spots. So things are looking pretty good at the moment. So we're up to, I think, P4 right now. So P5, sorry, P5, there we go. It's just updating itself. So all in all, we're keeping pressure on the guy in front of us, which is good. We're not getting too much pressure behind us, and we're not making mistakes, which is really important. There's been a few little odd errors here and there, just where I've gone a little bit wide, just had to ease off a little bit, just had to brake a little bit in a corner, just have to lift a little bit here and there. But other than that, it's not been, you know, I've not been off tracking and spinning the car and stuff like that. That's the main thing, because it's very easy to spin a car at Laguna Seca. The Corkscrew, for instance, is such a hard corner to get right, and it's a corner that I feel I've actually got some good pace through. The Kink, not so much, but the Corkscrew, definitely. So one of the things of the Corkscrew you want to do is you want to get over the brow of the hill, so just here, and then brake around about the 200 metres mark. Take the corner, and you don't want to turn all the way in, because it drops away, and the second part of the corner is there. So you always want to straight line it through there. You have to be careful, because the car gets really, really loose over there, because it is such a big drop. And you have to just get the car positioned right so you don't lose the back end, because it's very easy to get light through that corner and have the back end step out on you. So that's something you have to consistently keep an eye on, and just stop yourself making mistakes. So I think we're actually up to P3 now. So again, a couple more mistakes in front of us, and consistency is paying off very, very well. So goal now is to try and keep pressure on the guy in front of us. And we can't be making little mistakes like we just did. Just running a little bit wide there, and it's very easy to dip your wheel on the sand, and then all of a sudden that Skippy is going to spin around on you. So we've just got to keep the pressure on the guy in front of us. We're not really catching, as I said, we're not able to set enough pace to catch them, but able to keep some pressure on. Guy behind me, I think, is full position now, and they're catching me at a fairly decent pace. So again, we've got a nice gap, which is good, but they are catching. So again, it's just trying not to get too stressed in this situation. So again, through the corkscrew, just nice and easy, and it's just trying to keep fluid. I always think Jensen Button, his driving style, you know, where you're just trying to just gently turn the car in. You're not constantly making corrections. You're just pointing and clicking. And it's paid off for us, because the guy that we were chasing has just made a big mistake. We make a bit of a lock coming into the final corner, but that's okay. We're still good. We've moved up to P2 now. We're being chased right now for P2 by the guy behind us. The leader is about 16 seconds ahead, so I'm not going to catch the leader unless they make a big mistake. Couple laps remaining here. I just need to drive smoothly and keep the car in a solid position. I can defensively drive against the guy behind me if I need to, but I'm not thinking about that at the moment because he's still about 2.5 seconds behind me. So he could very easily make a mistake as he's trying to catch me, because he's going to have to push to catch me. I'm setting lap times in the 138s, 139s. So my lap times have gone up a huge amount. When I first started the evening, I was barely able to get into the 141s. By the end of the evening, I was in the 138s. And that is always a big confidence boost, because it shows that you've improved. And as I say, I only race a couple of hours a night, a couple of hours a week, sorry. So, you know, I'm only racing on the Sunday nights, and I'm only racing for about 3 hours. So I'll do 3 races. So that's about 40 minutes of practice for the first race, 1 race which is about 30 minutes long, and then about another 40, well, not even that, it's about 20-30 minutes of practice, and then it's another race. We're still lapping, and we're still keeping the guy behind us just away, and that is that. Race is over. Now, unluckily, the one of the people in front of us decided to stop on track, so we did pick up a slight... I don't think I actually picked up a... I think it was a 0x, but it did actually hurt my safety rating, which was kind of annoying. Anyway, we claimed P2 in the end, and the strength of field was very high, so I was super pleased about that. So let's head to the post-race results. So there we go. So the guy in front of me, much higher I rating. We were in split 4, as I said, 1,351 strength of field. When we came into this, we were about 1,200. Gained 89 I rating points, which is great. And as you can see, the people around me were not, you know, they had pretty decent I rating as well. So I was really pleased with this one. And I think it was one of my best drives. Like, obviously got that win a few weeks back, but I feel like this was more of a showing of my strength. And as just looking at the strength of fields above us, you know, like, it is ridiculously high. But these little results are just helping pick me up a little bit and helping just improve my I rating and improve my confidence as well. And it's given me the chance to race some really quick guys and just improve. As you can see, the top I rating is ridiculous, 5,261. That is insane. But we did a really good result in the end. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, let me know below. And I will see you all again soon. Bye-bye.